with Facebook ads, it was like you could kind of put up whatever content on Facebook ads and you could target it kind of correctly. And the targeting was so powerful that it would work. And this was like, I don't know, 5 years ago. And then it became more and more important that your content was actually good. And now the content really, really has to be good. Your targeting really has to be good, or you can get eaten alive. Right. The birth of like the Harmon brothers and those guys, the Poopery and just those viral commercials, that was around quality creative, right?
Yeah.
Really, really targeted quality creative. And I feel like I parallel that with Amazon, where it was like you could put any photos you wanted up there like a few years ago and make sales, right? And now we're at this pivoting point where over the last 6 months, and I'd love you to correct me if I'm wrong or see if you feel a different way about it. But I feel like the reason this podcast, I want to bring it kind of happen now, do this now, is because I feel like we're at that point where it's like where it was with Facebook ads. You're going to get eaten alive if you don't have quality content, quality photos, quality video, quality A+. All these pieces of the puzzle are sort of essential now where they weren't before.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we've seen also like a massive shift just in the last year, right? Like in terms of who is the actual seller on Amazon, right? Like basically, it's funny. 2019, I spoke at an Alibaba conference in China. And when I landed, they had a guy there kind of picked me up from Alibaba. And I was talking to him in the taxi on the way to the hotel. And he said to me, yeah, it's like, I used to sell on Amazon. He's like, in 2014, he's like, I would just put products up from China and it would just sell, right? You just put a product and it would just sell, right? And I'm sure it wasn't like amazing creative or ABC or any of the stuff.
Right.
Put a product up and it would sell. But what happened from 2012 to 2017 is private label sellers, people like us, proved that this model works and paved the way for now the big money to come in, right? And it kind of like on any platform, the small, scrappy people start, prove a model, and then big money sees the opportunity comes in. And like in the last year, that's really what's happened, right? The rise of the, sort of the rise of the aggregators, right, has come in, right? The Thrasio who is the first one to have massive success with it. And then April 2020, there's a TechCrunch article that says Thrasio raises money, valuation at $1 billion. And I know personally, because I had like many calls around that time, people frantically trying to put together teams and figure out how to do this, right? Because it lit a fire under a lot of people who kind of had this idea brewing. They maybe bought one brand and now decided like, okay, we're going all in. We're raising money. And so now the people you're competing with is not necessarily just that bootstrapped person starting at $5,000. It's also the big players with big money who understand that it's still, even though a lot of people got started like, 6-7 years ago in this space, that it's still really, really early innings, that e-commerce is still a small percentage or, of overall retail, and that it's massively growing, and they're willing to invest the money into these brands now. And so your competition even has changed. I remember buying a brand from like a viral launch like several years ago. And then I met the guy who launched a product. It was a toothpaste called Cali White, this toothpaste, right? I bought it off our launch and actually liked as like a free product, really liked the product,
Right.
kept using it. Then I ended up meeting the seller who ran the product. And 2 weeks ago, he's like, hey, just sold my business to Perch, right? Like there's a shift happening, right? These businesses going from the bootstrap guy to the big money guys. And now they're going to come in and they're going to refresh all the creative. They're going to redo packaging. They're going to do branding. They have the people also. They're hiring the people or they have the people, head of branding, head of creative, video, using agencies to really power up these listings. And because they know the playbook is basically you take these listings that are like, a 6 out of 10 and you make them a 10 out of 10, you immediately increase sales, and like they're willing to invest the money. And so the competition that you had a year or two ago is different than the competition you have today, even with the same brands. Everybody has to step up their game, I think, to compete, especially on the creative side.